Hey y'all, what's going on? I'm here for Love and Hip Hop New York, Season 7, Episode 12. We start the episode off with Pap. He's shooting a video, I guess, for some new song he has out or something. That shit was kind of bumping, like, okay, Pap still got it or whatever. Pretty much he's been saying that he's been dumping himself into his work due to, Remy losing the baby and everything. His daughter and his mom pop up on him or whatever, and Pap's mom knows that he holds a lot of stuff in, and she's like, just talk to us and everything. It's okay to express your feelings and stuff. And he admits that he's really not okay, and he's been depressed, and they both tell him that I think you went back to work too soon or whatever. Like right now you should just focus on you and Remy just trying to get through this and everything. And then later on in the episode, we get Remy and Pap or whatever. Remy, she's pretty much venting to Pap about her feelings in regards to losing the baby. She tells him, when I get off the stage or whatever, after I perform, I start to think about the baby all over again. And Remy, she starts to blame herself, about the loss of the baby. She's like, maybe if I would have had it sooner or whatever, this wouldn't have happened. And I felt bad, that she was blaming herself or whatever. A lot of times when these situations happen, or when miscarriages happen, or whatever the case may be, or stillborns, a lot of mothers, they do blame themselves for the loss of the baby. But Remy, don't blame yourself for that, because it's nothing that you really could have did. Like sometimes certain things happen and we don't know why it happens, but it does, what I'm saying. And you and Pap are going to get through this, you know what I mean. He tells her that he doesn't want her to blame herself. It will make him feel a little bit better knowing that she's not blaming herself for this and everything. And he tells her, he's going to be around regardless, and he just wants to make her happy. And I thought that was really sweet. Like Pap just always, he just always has us in awe with how, he treats Remy. He really treats her like a queen, and I have the utmost respect for him. Moving on from that, we get the Creep Squad featuring Snoop minus Cisco. They're shooting pool or whatever. Peter, he's talking about the whole, party that he threw for Tara or whatever, and how, he was trying to right his wrongs and blah, blah, blah. And Peter was like, yeah, Cisco was there, but you wasn't there, Self, or whatever. And Peter is like, we bringing him back to the Creep Squad. Self, he's not feeling it, he's like, all the shit that he did to me and all of us and blah, blah, blah. And, they all admit that Cisco was wrong and everything. Rich, he pretty much feels like, shit. If I could forgive him, and if Peter can forgive him for, jacking him of $10,000, then Self could surely get over the shit that he did to him. I was like, yeah, because that shit was just really trivial with you and Cisco, like, like whatever. So Self agrees to talk to him and everything, but he has a plot to teach Cisco a lesson or whatever. And Snoop, she's like, she calls them pretty much low budget creeps, and I do concur. She calls them low budget creeps, and she ain't with all that creep shit or whatever. But then she in the damn thing with them yelling Creep Squad and all this other bullshit. I was just like, child. So anyways, later on in the episode, Peter and Rich, they do exactly what Self wanted them to do, which was to keep Cisco occupied in the club and everything, while Self has pretty much Cisco's car right where he wants his car to be at, and knowing that that's Cisco's prized possession. So he starts to, write on Cisco's car and everything, vandalize his car or whatever, and Peter, Rich, and Cisco, they come out or whatever. Self, we see that he writes the Gwenin on Cisco's car and everything. And Cisco had said something to him like, what is this or whatever, you writing on my shit and everything. And Self is like, I just made your car, the property of Gwennon. Cisco, next thing you know, he flies off the hinges, comes out his motherfucking jacket and everything, trying to get at Self. Peter and Rich are holding him back or whatever. And Self is telling him, like, look, it's fake, it washes off, or whatever. And, Rich is telling him, this is payback for all the shit that you done, or whatever. And, Cisco, he admits, I've been tripping, and, I've been, taking it out on y'all, the shit that I've been going through, and, he just wants to know if the beef is going to be buried for life. And, he asks all of them one by one, am I my brother's keeper? Like, oh my god, like, they are so fucking lame. Like, almost 50 years old. Like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? So, well, maybe not Cisco. I don't think Cisco and Self is almost 50, but definitely Peter and Rich. So he asked them, this all one by one, and they all reply, yes, I am. And the next thing you know, they're yelling, creep squad, and I'm just like, why? Like, oh my god. Anyways, moving on from that. This episode was mainly based around the whole Cancun trip that Juju planned, for Kimbella, Jay, and Yandy. So, Kim, Jay, and Juju, they all arrived there first or whatever. Juju gives them the chapters from her books and everything, from her book or whatnot. Yandy, she shows up with Bianca. And, Kim, she's feeling some type of way because she's like, she got her, work here and everything, but what is she doing for Jewels, pretty much, is what Kim was saying. So, Kim asked her, like, you brought work on vacation and everything, and, Yandy is like, we all know that I'm a multitasker or whatever, this, that, and the third. Kim tells Bianca that it's not an issue with her. It's, Yandy is the issue or whatever. They still got issues from last week's episode. Kim, she brings up Jewels or whatever. The other girls, they walk away, by the way, so Kim and Yandy can have a conversation. So Kim brings up Jewels or whatever. Yandy is just over it. Like, why is she still bringing this up? Kim says that, she spoke to Juju and everything, and how, she was saying that Yandy wasn't, comfortable with Kim putting her in a weird position and whatnot. And, Yandy is like, what happened with me and Jewels stays between me and Jewels. Like, this is my client and everything. And once again, I understand where Yandy is coming from on that or whatever. Yandy is like, well, Kim, she keeps on saying the same shit that she's saying about being kept in the loop or whatever. Yandy is like, well, you need to clarify that with that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And Kim is like, well, I did or whatever. And he's saying that, you be so busy and all this other stuff. And, he wants to know what's going on behind the scenes and everything. So, Yandy is like, Kim is, asking her to be unprofessional, and she's not going to let her, the same shit that they was talking about last week, pretty much. So, Yandy is like, all this shit that you telling me, Jewels and already told me this, so I already know. And so, Kim is like, well, what's the problem with me telling you what he said or whatever? And Yandy is like, bitch, because the point is, he already told me his motherfucking self. I don't need you to repeat what the fuck he said and everything. So, Kim at this point, she's irritated. She walks off. Whatever. I mean, Kim, do Kim do anything? Like, do she just stay at home all the goddamn time? I mean, girl, you need to find something to do. Maybe you stay out of Jewel's business so much. Like, girl, like, she just doing too much. She just put 20 on 10 for no fucking reason. So anyways, moving on from that, Bianca, she's, writing, doing some work or whatever on the beach and everything. Cardi and Hennessy, they show up and all this other stuff. Bianca invites those two or whatever. And then next thing you know, Cardi invites Mariah Lynn or whatever on the trip. And Bianca is not pleased soon as she sees, that Cardi invited Mariah Lynn and all this other stuff. And Cardi and Hennessy, they leave them two to, have a conversation or whatever, because Cardi feels like the shit is petty or whatever. Mariah, she instantly, she's like, you know, she didn't know Sky threw her name into the mix or whatever until, you know, Bianca and Cardi told her or whatever and all this other stuff. And, you know, Mariah was like, but you wouldn't let me explain that to you or whatever because you just wanted to fly off the handle or whatever. And, you know, Bianca is like, you know, why are you still hanging with her? You know what I'm saying? And, you know, Mariah is like, you know, she feels like Sky used her and all this other stuff. And Mariah is like, you know, that she can admit that, you know, she's wrong or whatever. And that, you know, she just honestly was really trying to protect Sky's feelings and all this other stuff. But, you know, it seemed like Sky used her to get what she wanted and everything. And she said that she never told Sky when and where Bianca was going to be at and everything. And, you know, Bianca was like, well, tell me right now that you're not friends with her. And Mariah was like, okay, Bianca, I'm not friends with her and everything. I was like, bitch, I'll be friends with who the fuck I want to be friends with. Like, what the fuck you mean? You know what I'm saying? But, I mean, whatever. You know what I'm saying? They hug it. Like I said, you know, Mariah Lynn probably shouldn't just had, she probably just should have kept her mouth closed and not had gotten into all of that or whatever. But at the same time, I'm not really mad that she did the shit either. But, you know, she probably should have just stayed out of it, you know, whatever. But, anyway, so they hug it out or whatever. But Mariah Lynn is still kind of pissed off that Bianca threw them drinks on her. So she pushes Bianca into the pool and everything. And, now they're even at this point. Mariah Lynn's wig comes off or whatever. You know, her braids are showing. She looked better with the braids, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like, because her wigs, I told y'all before, her wigs this season have, you know, her hair has just been off. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, you know, the braids would have did her more justice, in my opinion. But anyways, moving on from that, Juju and Kim, they go out to the club together and everything. You know, Juju didn't think that Kim and Yandy's whole beef would get worse or whatever, but, you know, Yandy bringing Bianca or whatever just kind of put the icing on the cake or whatever, this, that, and third. And Juju just wants to give everybody the chance to calm down. So on the other side of town, Bianca, she's out with Cardi, Hennessy, and Mariah Lynn or whatever. And Yandy, she so happens to show up at the same spot with Jay or whatever. So next thing you know, Jay is like, is that Bianca over there? And Yandy, she is not pleased or whatever with, you know, Bianca drinking and twerking and all this other stuff. So Yandy, she wants to talk to her and everything. So she pulls her to the side. Mariah Lynn is hearing everything that Yandy is saying. You know, she feels disrespected about, you know, the whole uninvited guest bullshit and all this other stuff. Now her Cardi B, I seen the video of her today going off about, you know, Yandy and them trying to make it look like she was an uninvited guest, because from what she was saying, Mona and them begged her. They pulled her off from work from what the fuck she had to do and begged her to be on that trip and everything, this, that, and the third. And for them to make it look like, you know, she just some buster or whatever, she didn't appreciate that. And, you know, some people were saying, well, why didn't Cardi say anything then? Because, you know, really she did have 2 opportunities to say something, but she didn't say it. But, I mean, you know, she can't really just be like in the scene, oh, well, Mona and y'all bitches asked me, y'all begged me to come on this motherfucker trip and everything. So don't sit up here and act, you know, like, really, she can't really, I can imagine she really can't do that, you know, while they're shooting the scene and everything. So maybe that's why she just kind of held her tongue, I don't know, and just waited until the episode aired for her to say something. I don't know. But anyways, so Bianca is telling Yandy, you know, well, you always busy and everything, and I knew you was going to be with your friends, so that's why I brought mine. And, you know, Yandy is like, you know, but you're supposed to be working. And Bianca is like, you know, I am working and everything. And Mariah Lynn, yeah, she still feels disrespected or whatever, and Yandy is still reprimanding Bianca or whatever about her behavior and how she's supposed to be working and all this other stuff. And you know, Cardi understands where Yandy is coming from, but at the same time, it's like, damn, what you expect Bianca to do, to be writing a song in a goddamn club? Like, she should be able to have fun too and everything. And I agree with that. It's like, I mean, if Bianca got her work done or whatever, like, y'all are in fucking Mexico. Like, why should she be working the whole goddamn time? Why can't she have fun too? Long as she gets all her work done, I don't see the issue with her having fun, Yandy. I think you was being a little bit too hard on her. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so B tells her, you know, she appreciates everything that Yandy has done for her and knows that she's one of the few people that believe in her and everything. And you know, she just feels like Yandy has a lot going on with me. DC's being locked up and etc. or whatever. And you know, Yandy is like, you know, she trusts Bianca and everything, but she also wants to see her win as well. And if she ends up making Bianca cry, she's like, man, why you had to do this to me or whatever. And you know, Yandy's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you cry in the club and everything. And Yandy is like, she doesn't let her personal affect her business. So she lets Bianca have it and continue to have fun with her friends. So moving on from that, you know, all the girls get together for lunch and everything. Juju lets it be known that, you know, she lets Kim and Yandy and I think Jay know that, you know, Bianca invited some of her friends or whatever. Juju, she don't like the fact that, you know, Yandy and Kim are still on the outs or whatever. And, you know, she understands that they go months at a time without talking and all this other stuff, but they're not here for that shit. They need to squash that shit real quick. Kim, she pretty much speaks to Yandy about, you know, she pretty much, you know, starts speaking on how she feels or whatever. She feels like Yandy is only hearing herself and not hearing her and everything. Yandy just feels like, you know, it wasn't the right time for you to bring this shit up or whatever. Kim, she feels like, you know, it wasn't that serious for her to bring it up in front of Jay and in front of Jay and Bianca, for her to bring up the whole situation with Jewels and all this other stuff. You know, Kim is also, you know, Yandy, she starts getting defensive again. She starts to get defensive again, and you know, Kim is like, you know, see, that's the problem I'm talking about right there. You're not hearing me. You're not hearing what I'm saying. You just, you know, assume you know what I'm going to say, and you start reacting and all this other stuff. And you know, Kim is saying that they're family first and all this other stuff, and she starts to kind of laugh and then tears up and everything. And you know, Yandy loves her and all this other stuff, and pretty much they squash that shit from there or whatever. So Bianca and the girls, they show up or whatever, and you know, Yandy tells them about, you know, Bianca drinking and partying last night and all this other stuff. And so Mariah, she, you know, speaks up or whatever, and she says, you know, like, it felt like we were in trouble or something, like, you know, was everything cool? And you know, Yandy is like, you know, you know, nobody is in trouble and everything. It just was a shock to me, that's all or whatever. And you know, so I think, who was it? Was it Juju asked what they should do or something? Somebody asked what they should do or whatever, and Bianca suggests to twerk off and all this other stuff. Kim, the first one to get up and everything, and starts to shake her ass or whatever. Won't nothing moving. I mean, I'm smaller than her, and I know how to work with what the fuck I got. I'm just saying. But anyways, so you know, Cardi, she says, you know, Kim got the biggest ass out of all of us and everything. She already got an advantage or whatever. So, okay, so the last scene or whatever, Jay and Kim, they meet up or whatever about Juju's book or whatever. Yandy, she feels some type of way about, a chapter that, you know, Juju wrote in the book or whatever. She thinks is about her life and all this other stuff. So Juju, Yandy, Jay, and Kim, they meet up and everything about the book. You know, Yandy, she asks if the stories of the woman are about women that Juju know and everything personally, and Juju is like, no, but you know, I hope that women can relate to it or whatever. And Yandy, she feels as if, you know, she's like, if I tell somebody a story or whatever, I feel like it should stay between me and that person. Juju, she's confused, like, what the fuck is you talking about? And you know, Yandy, she's like, that Juju should have gave her a heads up and all this other stuff. And you know, Yandy talks about one of the stories, you know, being the whole Instagram story and the fake pages and shit, you know, the shit that she was telling Juju last week or whatever about what, you know, Erica making fake pages and everything. And Juju says like, Yandy, you ain't the only bitch that has gone through, that has dealt with motherfuckers trying to make fake pages or whatever and sabotage your relationship and everything. Kimbella, she agrees, like, yeah, I had situations like that too, you know what I'm saying? And Jay and Kim, they pretty much are backing, you know, Juju up, saying like, you know, we both, you know, both of us, we gone through situations that is in the book or whatever, and you know, that we can relate to, and we like, damn, like, how she know my life or whatever, this, that, and the third. But you know, it's situations that they can relate to and everything. And Yandy is like, well, if you're saying it's not or whatever, and Juju cuts her off, she's like, no, I'm telling you it's not. Like, you know, everything is not about you and all this other stuff. But see, Yandy, this is where I kind of got to, you know, get on you or whatever, because you know I was on your side, and this is probably the only time this season I've been fully on your side when it comes to the whole Kimbella situation. But see, you know, for you to just assume that shit, you know what I'm saying, like, and then bring it up in front of all of them versus pulling Juju to the side and having a personal conversation with her, like, instead of having a personal conversation with her, I felt like that was fucked up, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, why do you think you're that important, Yandy? Why do you think everything is about you? You know what I'm saying? Like, just like Juju said, like, it's been plenty of females who have gone through situations like that before. You know what I'm saying? Hell, you got females that's not even on TV that's probably gone through motherfuckers making fake pages or whatever, this, that, and the third, just because they jealous or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? Juju is like, you know what? You're not going to make this book about yourself. And, you know, Yandy is like, I'm just asking and everything. You know, Juju, she, you know, gets up and walks off or whatever. And Kim is like, no, you're not asking, you're accusing. Juju is like, Yandy thinks too highly of herself, which she does. I agree or whatever. And if it was about, you know, Yandy, she would have asked first and everything, this, that, and the third. And you know, Kim says that and she also says that Kim was right and all this other stuff. Yandy only cares about herself. And you know, Juju was talking to Jay or whatever and all this other stuff. And you know, she was like, you know, she messing up the whole trip, you know, by bringing Bianca and all this other stuff. Now she want to, you know, take digs in my book and, you know, whatever. And you know, she's like, this ain't what she want for real, you know. And Kim is trying to talk some sense into Yandy and everything, and you know, Kim calls her the mean girl, and pretty much she can't be on her side with this shit because she did ass wrong. And Jay comes back over and tells them what Juju said, and that pretty much was the episode, y'all. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about it. Listen, I know I still gotta do Black Ink Crew. I'ma just have to jump in on episode 4 or whatever, because you know, my grandma, she don't have, you know, cable anymore, you know, since my granddad passed away, so I wasn't able to watch it up there if I wanted to, you know, episodes 1 through 3. So I'm just have to start off on episode 4, you know, catch up, and then start off on episode 4 tomorrow. But yeah, I'll see you guys later on. Peace.